They climbed a mountain in the dead of night, unsure of what they'd find. But they weren't expecting this. Thai policemen were on patrol when they found 300 people sitting on the mountaintop. And nobody said a word. Who were they? The police weren't sure. But they were in a terrible state. Eventually, the group agreed to move. They were hungry, thirsty, and utterly exhausted.
I try to tell them that we need to save the children because many children got mosquito bites. I point to the children. So that's why I said, okay.
The next day at a holding center, the police found Chinese bus tickets in their pockets and began to suspect they were Uighurs, Muslims from Western China. So they called in the Chinese ambassador, but the people from the mountaintop refused to talk to him. It was an awkward moment. The Thais didn't fare much better, but they knew the party weren't penniless migrants.
Some of them have laptop, computer. Some of them have lots of money, cash in the bags, So I feel like this group of people, not from the bottom line of society, I think they are in the middle. They are middle class.
Human rights groups say they're fleeing from this. Escalating violence in the capital and right across the country between Uyghurs and the majority Han Chinese. Knife attacks, shootings, suicide bombings, all blamed on Uyghur extremists, and it's prompted a massive government response. This is the province of Xinjiang in China's far west, and it's home to the Uyghur minority. In the city of Kashgar, government troops are out in force. They guard the intersections and survey the streets, on the lookout for Uyghur militants. And the ruling Communist Party has banned a host of Islamic practices. Civil servants can't fast during Ramadan, and children are prohibited from attending mosques. As we filmed, a young boy was barred by a government official. The boy's father prayed without him. A notice board instructs men not to grow beards, and women with headscarves risk having them seized. Critics say these government restrictions have provoked the violence, and one Uyghur told Channel 4 News they're also fueling a mass exodus.
我们不能再住那里，我们在那个环境里不能生存，政府压制我们。如果你想要在那里生存的话，你将被迫使下降你的宗教信仰。
Thousands of Uyghurs are now trying to leave China. They use underground routes and secret stopovers to get themselves to Malaysia. Then they try to fly to Turkey, the Turkish government thought willing to help them. We made contact with a member of a smuggling gang.
How do you get the Uyghurs from China all the way down to Malaysia?
It's done in short journeys from one location to another, and money's paid.
You pay the police money, you pay them bribes. That's how it works.
Yes, sure. To police officers, immigration, that's the nature of it.
However, not everyone makes it to Malaysia. Remember the people from the mountaintop? We found them in southern Thailand in one of several badly overcrowded lockups. Well, there's an immigration truck parked outside this detention center. Certainly people that we believe to be Uyghurs are getting out of this truck. They've just been to see their wives and children in a nearby shelter, and they're going back into the center. They're kept in a cell designed to hold a dozen men, and they've been in there since March. Well, I can tell you it seems very crowded up there, and
There is an extremely strong smell wafting down here. It doesn't look like a very pleasant place to be. Salam alaikum.
We went around the side and found another cell, the men peering through the bars.
We're from Turkish.
You're Turkish.
Yes.
I see. You've come. Okay, you've got a Turkish flag. Okay. I see. And you want to go to Turkey? You want to go to Turkey? I see. Why did you decide to leave your home?
Okay.
They consulted carefully before answering.
Kişilik hukuk lazım. Kişilik hukuk aşağı barımız bizim tukkallarımız var bu yerde. Türkiye'de tukkallarımız var, şu yerde yaşayımız biz. Şunu düşünde değişik gerek bana sana.
صديقنا وإخوتنا في تركيا موجود. نحن نريد أن نلحقهم. قولي.
Hey.
Okay, this note says we ask for human rights and equality and freedom. Okay, can you tell me what conditions are like inside this building?
Orada çocuklarımız var. Bak. Bak. Çocuklarımız var orada. Çocuklarımız var. Bunlar çok hasta burada. Çok hasta.
For the time being, they're stuck in these crowded cages. The officer in charge told us the Chinese are currently assessing their nationality.
China authority already got all information they need, I think, you know.
Does that mean that it is possible or even probable that this group of people will be sent back to China, in your view?
Well, I think that if they are Chinese, they have to be sent back to China.
That's a worrying prospect. Human rights groups say Uyghurs face arrest, imprisonment, and severe persecution if forcibly returned. For those who make it through, the suburbs of the Malaysian capital, Kuala Lumpur, await. The majority want to fly to Turkey, and they'll hide in the shadows until their journey is arranged. It took days to fix a meeting, but eventually we met a group of Uyghurs as they sat for their evening meal.
It's very quiet.
一旦没有必要的话嘛，不说，这个是起到比较重要的。
They've been living here for months, 3 families sharing the same room, all waiting for their travel documents. But they won't go back to China.
警察到家里把人带走，他们没有证人，也没有证据，人就消失了。这可能发生在任何人的身上，所以大家想要逃跑。
Still, the Chinese government claims Uyghurs who flee are drawn to extremist organizations like Al-Qaeda. So I asked our interviewee whether he was prepared to fight.
In your mind, is the use of force, is violence justified against the Chinese authorities? No answer. Okay.
The final step may be the most hazardous. During our visit, 58 Uyghurs were stopped at the airport after questions were raised about their papers. They're now kept at a holding center near the airport, their lives on hold a few hundred meters from the main runway. But many more members of this little-known group will risk it all to get away. John Sparks, Channel 4 News, Kuala Lumpur.